Today, we will get straight to the point and break down the 3 biggest stages in the emotional development of young children, a topic based on an article from the 4th edition of our magazine. If you are someone who always craves practical, no-nonsense information and wants to explore more deeply, you can absolutely purchase this magazine from our store or support us through Patreon. But right now, focus on this truth. When children are small, they are not simply learning how to take their first unsteady steps or babble meaningless words. They are also going through enormous and continuous emotional milestones. These milestones are completely unique to each child. So remember that the month-based timelines we are about to discuss are only guidelines, but the milestones themselves always happen in the correct sequence and within the same certain stage for every child. Let's begin with the first stage, the first 6 months of life, a period when survival and instinct completely dominate everything. When a child has just been born, the harsh truth is that they are completely undeveloped emotionally. They are like a biological machine that only knows how to react, where every discomfort, every pain, or every need is expressed through a single mechanism, crying. They completely lack the more subtle and developed responses that we often see in adults or older children. By the 1-month milestone, everything seems to revolve around chaos as newborn babies cry a lot, and they use that crying as the ultimate weapon to let the world around them know clearly that they are hungry, tired, or intensely craving attention. Crying at this point is not personal. It is a direct and decisive alarm signal. But then, just 1 month later, at 2 months old, a magical shift begins to appear as infants start learning how to signal to you whether they like something or not. You will see this very clearly when they suddenly show intense excitement toward a shiny toy or something that captures their gaze. That is when their brain begins dividing the world into 2 clear halves, things that bring pleasure and things that cause discomfort. And when the child reaches the 3-month milestone, the real communication game begins with the appearance of an extremely powerful weapon, the social smile. This is not an unconscious smirk during sleep, but an intentional action when the child recognizes a wonderful cause and effect rule that smiling helps them receive more positive attention from you. At the same time, they begin recognizing objects, showing clear excitement, and even, most astonishingly, they can show you boredom if you keep presenting the same single stimulus over and over again. If you do not pay attention to them, you will see frustration begin to appear. Moving into the 4th month, the emotional picture becomes brighter and also more intense. The child not only starts laughing out loud, but this is also the time that marks the first moment they truly express anger. They are no longer just crying passively. They begin showing clear physical acts of resistance, such as firmly turning their head away to reject something they do not like at all. By the 6th month, everything reaches a new level when the child has the ability to copy and imitate the emotions of the people around them. If the mother smiles, the child will also smile back in a deeply connected way. However, this is also when fear and anger begin to become clearer and more strongly present than ever, although the intensity of these emotions can vary greatly depending on each child's temperament. Right after that, we enter the 2nd stage, from 6 to 12 months, where the true personality of a human being begins to be shaped. At the 7th month, your child will no longer hesitate to show fear, anger, defiance, and even shyness in front of new situations or people. They are testing the boundaries of the world. When reaching 8 months old, the child's ability to recognize emotions becomes much sharper, and as a result, they begin experiencing complex, mixed emotional states. This is the most important moment when you can see the child's unique personality truly forming and developing clearly. Moving into the 9th month, the instinct to seek safety rises strongly as children begin actively turning to the people around them for comfort and soothing whenever they feel tired. And also at this 9-month point, a revolutionary milestone in cognition occurs. The child can finally recognize their own reflection in the mirror. Their brain has connected that the person looking back at them is none other than themselves. The true emotional explosion happens in the 10th month, when children begin expressing positive and negative emotions far more extremely than before. Curiosity dominates every action they take, pushing them to constantly test everything around them and reach out to grab any object that sparks their interest. Moving into the 11th month, individual differences in how each child expresses emotions become obvious and unmistakable. The desire for independence also begins to appear strongly, and you will see the child even insist on feeding themselves instead of relying on your help. That is their first assertion of self, a declaration that they are taking control of their body and the environment around them. Finally, we enter the third stage, the period from 12 to 24 months, a stage full of storms, but also incredibly magical. After passing the first year of life, children are able to display extremely complex emotional systems, and one of the clearest signs is jealousy. They understand the concept of ownership and affection. But along with those difficult emotions, extremely positive aspects also develop strongly. You will see children at this age frequently smile and burst out laughing with self-satisfaction at their own cleverness and intelligence. By 15 months old, empathy and social awareness begin to take root as children show caring and nurturing traits toward other children. They also begin having rigid preferences, clearly showing which specific clothes they like, what they like and dislike, and especially, they will immediately show irritation and restlessness if another child plays unfairly with them. They already have a sense of fairness in their own way. And then the 18-month milestone arrives, bringing with it the classic tantrums that give every parent a headache. But this is not rudeness, it is emotional overload. At the same time, this is also when children begin showing the first signs of shame as they realize that they have just done something wrong. Another adorable and symbolic development at this age is that children form a strong attachment and preference for a comforting object, such as a familiar blanket. That is their intelligent self-soothing mechanism. When approaching 19 or 21 months, true maturity begins to show as children start trying to control negative emotions and situations on their own instead of only crying. And when they reach the threshold of 24 months old, meaning 2 full years in this world, children can consciously feel sad or upset simply because of their own dreams. They no longer live only in their own world, but have gained the ability to respond fully to the emotions of the people around them. This is also an important moment when they begin identifying their gender as well as recognizing their first name. Clearly, development does not stop here. Beyond this 2-year timeline, children will continue to grow and mature emotionally without pause. They will continue learning more about their emotions, about how to express them to the outside world, about how to interact with others through that emotional system, and most importantly, how to feel and process more than one emotion at the same time. This process is a lifelong journey. But the foundations built during these first 24 months are the core blueprint that shapes the entire psychology of a person later on. We hope that this straight-to-the-point knowledge has helped you understand part of how children develop their emotional system during their turbulent early years. If you find this information useful and practical, do not forget to read our magazine. And please like, share this content, and make sure you have subscribed to the channel so you do not miss any other core knowledge we bring you.